I am here with Miranda Maverick. We just got done doing a great kickboxing class. Dumped a ton of knowledge on me that I'm going to have to keep cramped in there, but I'm going to practice it when I get home. But it's very, very happy to have you. Thank you for giving me this interview. First of all, I want to talk about the win streak that you're on. You're on a 4-fight win streak. That's big for the flyweight division. The highest one right now is like 6.
I believe so, yeah.
So you were pretty disappointed in your last fight with the performance, but how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm on a win streak. I feel like I'm just moving on up, and regardless of like how good the win was last time, a win is a win. I feel like I deserve a top 15, maybe even top 10 opponent and work my way up. I call it out Andrade, so that's how I'm feeling about it, I'm really excited potentially to have that fight. But the fight itself was weak, I didn't show my best performance. But going back, looking at it, how I felt afterwards, I had a terrible concussion after the fight. I got elbowed in the back of the head multiple times. Obviously, that usually calls for disqualification. Ref warned her every single time. Didn't even know refs were allowed to warn more than like 3 times, but it is what it is. So walking away from the fight, yes, I could have done better. There were some uncontrollables that I had, but I'll go back and work on every single controllable thing.
That's something that I really admired is you always don't make excuses. You explain circumstances of what's happening. Especially you were getting on yourself with fight IQ, but honestly, going from that second to third round, even the commentators were talking about you setting up your takedown first, immediately into the third round, you adjusted. So how was that, having that struggle in the beginning of the fight and then making that adjustment? What was going through your mind?
For sure. And like I said, the second round, I was a little woozy. I went in there, I think, just emotional, scrambling kind of thing. Did not perform my best. The second round was the only one that was really bad. Third round, I came back in and was like, get back on my horse. Like, this is stupid. We had a bad round. We're going to come back and win this round, win the whole fight. And that was kind of my mindset going into it of, hey, we've been in deep waters before. This is not a fight I'm going to lose. This is not an opponent I should lose against. I'm better in every area. Let's go out there and show it.
Okay, and no, that makes a lot of sense. I'm talking about matchups. I didn't even think about the Jessica Andrade matchup. That's actually a really smart call out. Yeah. She bounces between both divisions. She can be available whenever, really. A lot like yourself.
Yeah.
So it's hard to really match you up because so many people, especially in that 10 to 15, they're coming off a loss. But on the 4-fight win streak, you deserve someone coming off a win like Viviane Araújo, like all the other prospects like these Karine Silvas. They're coming off these losses. So why now do you feel that you need to be pushing to get to that top 10?
Man, I've been trying for a while,
right?
And it feels like every time I have a matchup that is in that top 15, something happens. Tracy Cortez has dropped out of the fight twice at this point, and they're like, well, we pulled her up the first time, and it's like, either way, 2 times I prepared for a fight against a top 15 opponent. Both times I've got no top 15 opponent for 2 fights in a row, and I've ended up getting kind of short into the stick there. Yes, I get paid the same no matter each fight, but it does hurt my negotiations from then on, so it's really frustrating to me. I'm really looking forward to having a top-ranked opponent, and that's kind of our deal. Like my coaches and my manager and I talking, it's like, we want a ranked opponent no matter what at this point. Like, if we have to wait a little longer, so be it, but I don't want to put on a back burner. And that's what it seemed like every other time is it's either take an unranked opponent or get put on a back burner.
Okay. Yeah. So just to share a little bit of a personal side of how I started following you. I saw you when you first came onto the scene, had a great performance to get into the UFC. What really caught me to keep going on your career, though, was that Macy Barber fight. And I say it every time I can. You won that fight, in my opinion. I'm not going to bring that bad juju back.
No, it's true, though.
But it is true. Where do you see down the line when you want to meet Macy again? Because it's inevitable.
Yeah, I want to meet her right now. I've been calling for a rematch with Macy since the fight happened. It just has never worked. I think it's very against the game plan for the UFC, so to speak. They've been hyping her for a while. I've gotten told straight up the word no when I've asked before when they didn't even have anybody else for her to fight. And they were like, quit asking. No. Okay. And I was like, alrighty then. And I'm sure at some point, if we both get in like that top 5 range and they can't really work it around any other way, it'll happen. But until then, I think they're going to avoid it anytime possible. Long story, but I actually had Macy try to come train at my gym. And I was like, listen, you want to fight me? Cool, we'll fight. Then you can come train at my gym. But until then, get out of my territory.
Was that pound for pound MMA?
It was.
That was
pound for pound Muay Thai. Yeah.
Oh, Muay Thai, yes. Man, that's I mean, perfectly fair, honestly.
Yeah, and it's like, it's not hard feelings against her personally. It'd honestly be a great training partner, but I'm not going to include just one more training partner that I can't fight because they're a training partner. Like, I'm not playing that game. I already have Rose I train with, and even her and I are willing to fight against each other if it came down to the line.
Could happen.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, very, very true. Okay, this is my last question because talking about Rose. You want to fight Jessica Andrade. We're just coming off Amanda Ewos, Mackenzie Dern. There's so many flyweights and strawweights that are bouncing between these two divisions.
Yeah.
You've been at a size disadvantage for every fight, which makes it even more amazing how well you're doing.
Yeah.
Is there any thoughts of 115 at all?
Never.
Never?
So even though I'm at a size disadvantage, I think it's a height disadvantage
Yes.
most times. I will say Jamie Horth was a big girl. This
Big.
last girl I fought, okay? But usually the weight's the same, the strength, I'm always beating everybody. Even Jamie, as you can see from the cage exchanges, I was always stronger when it came to us bouncing back and forth off the cage. I did bad in the second round, but still was able to get up, get on top, all that. I think my strength outweighs the height advantage. And I feel like the taller they are, the easier takedowns are and everything. So I not only like 25 for that, but I'm a very bulky, short girl, right? So I used to try to get to 115 when I was 18 years old and, 19. I just turned 19 and tried to fight at 115 twice. I missed weight both times, went into shock in the bath while I was cutting weight. And after that, I basically promised my family I'd never try 115 again, at least until I figured out a drastic change. And now I'm very comfortable with my weight cuts. They're still difficult. It's not like I just show up at 125. I still walk into the cage much heavier than that. And that's where I plan to stay for my entire career.
You know, it'd be pretty amazing to see someone like that get to a championship title, especially when you went against someone like Jasmine Jasudavicius, who is also very large for the weight class, and fighting Miranda Silva coming up from bantamweight. So, Miranda, thank you so much for giving me this interview. This was fantastic. The class was fantastic. Can't wait for you to come back to the gym again and train with us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll be back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.